Actor James Wood has publicly thanked your firefighters, but he is also criticizing at the same time your leadership. He has said that your focus on diversity and not keeping the reservoirs filled with water is the problem. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond to that.
I appreciate that, so thank you. So I can be very, very clear with all the listeners and people that are watching. My top 3 priorities since day one has been this. I want to clearly articulate that. Number 1 priority from day one is ensuring that the LAFD has the capability to respond to our emergency calls, that we're able to provide services to the citizens every single day, every single hour. That's my number 1 priority. Number 2 priority has been and will continue to be focusing on our firefighter safety, health, and well-being. My 3rd priority is encouraging a positive work environment, and that has not changed since day one.
And has that effort at diversity been over your efforts in order to fight these fires? Because that's been the criticism. You know it's out there.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, my number 1 priority is making sure that we can take care of the community that we took an oath to take care of, and with that is our ability to respond to emergency. Number 1 priority is to make sure that we provide 911 services, EMS, and fire.
First of all, let's just get this out of the way. This woman is completely lying. Her first priority was not safety or making sure that they were prepared in the event of a wildfire. No, her first priority was DEI, or as I like to call it, DIE, because when you implement these type of policies into your program, you're going to put people's lives at risk. You are going to endanger your community because you do not have the best and most qualified candidates out there rescuing people. Instead, you have these purple-haired, ring-nosed freaks responding to calls that are really in that job playing pretend, right? So that the people at the top can pat themselves on the back and stand on their, little soapbox and virtue signal of what a great person they are because they got the first woman of color in this job, the first LGBTQ. That's why. And now LA is paying for that, right? And a lot of these people, I hate to say it, especially in the Palisades, because I know LA, I live out here, those are the celebrities. And there is going to be hell to pay when they have to rebuild their homes. They may have the money to rebuild it, but the money is not even the issue right now. The problem is all the regulation that they have to build anything in California. It's insane. And this is why we have such a housing shortage out here. It's because builders don't want to build. They don't want to have to deal with all the red tape, and these are professionals who understand building codes and fire safety, and they know what to do. Whereas the average homeowner is just kind of going to be at a loss when they need to put their house back together. And they're going to be told oh no, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to go to the city, you have to pay $100,000 just for that. We'll see which way they vote next time, because I really believe, and and I'm usually on board with how the left votes blue no matter who. I don't know if that'll work this time after they lose their homes, because they're going to experience firsthand what it's like to be a common man, and so yeah, the wildfire is still not really under control, as you can see. I mean, there's a bunch of smoke in the air and whatnot, and I'm not even in that area. I'm out by Studio City, Sherman Oaks. That's where I live, where I've lived. And the closest fire is in Hollywood, in the Hollywood Hills, where a lot of celebrities also like to live, in the Hollywood Hills. And the other, and they're going to have the money to rebuild there as well. And the other fires are going down in Pasadena, which is up by Burbank and beyond Burbank, but it's off the 210. I rarely go up there anyway, but I didn't even realize the place was burning down until I started getting calls and oh my gosh, and the Humane Society out there needs help because these animals are are being abandoned. I saw a really heartbreaking video of a deer running from the mountains, like a baby deer looking for its mommy and daddy, and it was like running, and it was lost, and it was scared, and it was just running through the streets like looking for help. And I'm like, okay, hey, you wokies, you guys who love this DEI stuff, they also tend to love animals like I do. That's probably the one and only thing we have in common. And you put the animals' lives at risk, right? I mean, they're helpless. I mean, at least as humans, we can call each other, we can depend on each other, but you know, a lot of these animals are helpless. A lot of them will get abandoned. And so we are already dealing with this shelter problem at the that we have here in LA, where we're at max capacity because of the COVID. I mean, they just cause all sorts of havoc in people's lives. I really wish big government would just get out of the way and let people do their thing. And I mean, even right now, I mean, the news isn't reporting this, but it's mostly neighbors helping neighbors, just the community coming together. There's just not enough firefighters out here. There's just not enough resources out here. The fire chief, the DEI fire chief, is saying, oh, it's because we lack funding and all that. We don't have enough money. Really? Didn't we just send $100 billion more to Ukraine the past week? Biden's trying to get as much money over there as possible. I mean, January 20th can't come soon enough, and I hate to say it. And I don't even vote, but I mean, this just needs to end. I mean, all of this utter incompetence, all in the name of virtue signal, needs to just stop, right? All in the name of saving people's feelings. This needs to stop, right? This justice-based, this emotional-based morality needs to stop. And we just need to get back to common sense, where we keep people safe. And, if we hurt people's feelings, too bad, right? We need to protect our community. But you got to love how this woman is out there doing these press conferences. And I'm so glad the mainstream media is dying. It can't die quick enough. But at least, I see such a change since Trump was elected. Like, the mainstream is starting to get their act together, and they're starting to hold these people accountable. I think they're realizing that they're not going to be able to compete with podcasters and YouTubers if they don't start telling the truth. And so she's on TV talking about how, her number one priority was safety. But why don't you watch this clip and you tell me if it sounds like that's her number one priority. Watch this clip.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, so why does it matter that only 5% of the firefighters are women, right? Could it be that women don't want to be firefighters in general, that they rather sit in a cushy office, right, in a cubicle or something like that, in safety, and not out there in a blaze? Could that be the reason that only 5% of women want to be firefighters, right? That is just, these people, are atheists, right? They believe, they don't believe like God created man or anything like that. They believe in evolution. They believe in something called natural selection, right? So using their own hypothesis of natural selection, what did you just want the best candidate over here? What did the best candidate just naturally get the job? Why do you have to play God and install these quotas and deny men the ability who are qualified to get the job, so you could put a woman in there who is not as qualified, period, right? We are just stronger than women, period. Any average guy can go out and beat up like 90% of the women he comes across on the street. You don't even have to be a professional fighter. Yeah, you could take them all down if you want to. That's why I say, as men, we could ravish this world if we really, really wanted to. But we don't. We have self-control. Nonetheless, why do we need this? Why do you need more than 5%? Even to me, I'm shocked that many women want to be firefighters. But why do you want to increase this to 50%? Because when you do stuff like that, you're going to put people's lives at risk, because now you're denying the citizens of your community the best candidates possible, so you could get your little diversity hires in there and virtue signal and pat yourself on the back. Okay, so does that sound like the LA Fire Department's priority is safety or diversity, equity, and inclusion? Right? Because it sounds like the latter to me. And this person is a complete buffoon. Like, who cares what the person saving you, who rescues you, looks like? I guarantee there's not a single person being rescued in the Palisades right now or the Hollywood Hills that is going, can I not get this white man? Can you get somebody who looks like me? No, nobody cares about that. And when you prioritize that stuff over safety, these are going to be your results, right? The mainstream media doesn't want to say it, but I will say it all day long. If we had the more qualified candidates in place, would it have stopped these fires completely? Of course not. But would it have saved more lives? Absolutely. Would this fire be under containment by now? Absolutely. Right? But because you have these buffoons in place who don't understand strategy and common sense and reality, they reject reality. I know that. We talk a lot about that here on my channel. They have such a resentment towards reality because it represents masculinity, order, God, right? They reject all that. No, I don't play in this fantasy land where a boy can be a girl can be a boy. We all love each other. I want to play in utopia. Stuff like this happens, right? Where reality, comes to fruition, and the DEI candidates are exposed as frauds. Okay? And people see on full display that these are the results of what they voted for, right? I don't vote for this stuff, right? I'm a native Californian. I don't vote that way. You know who votes that way is all the people that move here. I've said that over and over. Like, all my friends I grew up with here and in Cali are not like that. I mean, all the people who I've met that are like hardcore left and woke and all, none of them are ever from California. They moved here, right? Like from some other part of the country, if not another country, and thinking this is some liberal utopia, and it's ruined our state. It's ruined our state, unfortunately. And unfortunately, with these wildfires, which we do get, at least once a year. I mean, there's usually some sort of wildfire at least once a year. Usually, we're prepared, but for some reason we weren't this time. So not only are they claiming we're underfunded because of, for whatever reason, and they cut the budget by 17 million so they can give that money to the homeless and other pet projects and whatever their lobbyists are telling them to donate that money to. There's not enough money for the resources. Yet, you have to get upset when you hear constantly how many billions of dollars we keep sending to other countries. When people here are hurting, especially during an emergency like this. And in California, big shocker, we pay the highest taxes in the country. Right? I am in the highest tax bracket myself. You would not believe how much I pay in taxes. I pay over 6 figures, easily. Tax bill last year was a couple of $100,000, easily. And you just have to deal with it, right? And also we have like a 13% state tax here. So it's not cheap to live in California. People are like, why do you stay? Why do you stay? My whole family is here. I haven't found a better place. I love the weather. It has perfect weather all year long. I mean, even with the smoke, man, it's nice and warm. I'm wearing shorts. Look at this, I'm wearing a tank top. It's snowing in other parts of the country, freezing cold. I mean, this is beach weather. I mean, it's January. It's beach weather. Even last month in December, I still went to the beach. I can't leave, man. I grew up in front of the beach. I need to be by the beach, right? It's the quality of life I pay for, and I just have to put up with the lunatics who vote that way in my state, unfortunately. I hope it changes. I mean, Newsom is out there. Oh my God, I can't even stand this dude. He's out there gaslighting and going, they're like, sir, what do you think about what Trump had to say that you're underprepared and you should resign? Oh, now's not the time to be playing politics. It's like he's calling you out, dude. He's not playing politics. He's saying that you didn't do A, B, and C that he was warning you about way back in 2019, that something like this is going to happen, right? That's not playing politics. Like, if your father warned you about something as a child, like, hey, don't touch that stove, you're going to burn yourself. And then you actually touched the stove and you burned yourself, and you had that. And then your dad goes, hey, didn't I tell you that you would burn yourself if you touched the stove? And then you go, stop playing politics, Dad. I'm hurting. This is not the time to play politics. But Gavin's another one, right? He's another one with that feminine mindset, and they refuse to take any accountability for any wrongdoings. I mean, this is why I can't stand this DEI stuff, man, because you get people in there with a feminine mindset that will never take responsibility for anything they do wrong. And you see it now. You see the constant gaslighting, you see the constant hyperbole, the exaggerating and, deflecting of blame, projecting onto other people. And they never hold themselves accountable. They never just say, look, yeah, it happened on my watch. I'm sorry, I should have been doing my job. Yeah, that's all you have to say. I mean, the LA mayor wasn't, or was it the fire chief, wasn't even in town when this fire broke out, and she was warned about it. She went to some other country to celebrate some other country's leaders' inauguration, and she's not even going to go to Trump's inauguration, but she's in another country while her country is burning, her city is burning down. Unbelievable. But this is what you get when you get DEI hires. You get DEI fires. You get DEI results. And you know who pays for this? We do, right? We do. Our family members, our communities, our businesses, they all burn down. Our animals. Unbelievable. I mean, I just literally, Cash passed away in the summer, and I took it upon myself, even though I'm not ready for an animal, to foster a couple out of the LA animal shelter downtown, which is, they were at like almost double capacity, constantly euthanizing animals. So, there were a couple in there that were there for a while, and they were on death row. So I'm like, okay, I'll foster these guys out. So I'm fostering them now. And then this happens. And now you got another flood of animals coming in from the fires, because of the DEI hires, right? Just total incompetence, right? Just complete, whatever you want to call it, feminist incompetence, woke incompetence, DEI incompetence. Because, and you have to ask yourself, why are you prioritizing that stuff? Why don't you just hire look for the best candidates possible, male or female, no matter what color, no matter what sexual preference, get the best candidate out there, right, into the job. That should be your only concern. You should not care who they're dating. You should not care what color they are or what gender. But I mean, in firefighting, mostly 99%. Again, I'm going to stick with reality here. I'd rather have like a 200-pound, 6'4" Irish dude or black dude or Asian dude pulling my family member out of a burning building than the 5'7" woman of color, LGBTQ higher, that weighs like 100 pounds soaking wet. I don't think she could pull my family members out, much less me. And I don't even weigh that much, right? So this just needs to stop. All this DEI stuff, it needs to stop. And not only does she need to resign, and not only do they need to be held accountable, they should be held up for negligence. The city should be sued for negligence. I would not be surprised if all the citizens of LA County sue for negligence and what these people prioritized over safety. And, thank God Trump is going to be in office in a week, and I hope they launch an investigation into this on why this happened, how it happened, because, this would never be investigated under Biden's watch. They would just brush this thing under the table and sweep it under the table and pretend that nothing ever happened. People are tired of that gaslighting. They want answers. They want real answers, not these mainstream media politically correct answers or the gaslighting that Newsom's doing right now. And stop playing politics and blaming me. So what? I didn't fill the reservoir. You just can't make this stuff up. But if you're in LA, let me know. Drop your comments below. I hope you're safe And I hope you're being careful. FYI, if you're not in LA, now's not the time to go to Disneyland. Well, Disneyland, you should be okay because that's in Orange County. But now's not the time to go to Hollywood if you ever want to visit Hollywood. Now's not the time. It's easy to come in, but it's really difficult to get out because a lot of people are trying to escape and evacuate right now. Not to mention hotels in the area have gone from 100 a night to 1,000 a night because they're being overloaded with people who lost their homes. Unfortunately, I'm good. The closest fire to me, again, is in the Hollywood Hills, which is right over the hill from Studio City. So I'm not far from there. I'm not far from all that craziness. I'm more like off Coldwater Canyon and all that, and Ventura Boulevard. Kind of where Jay Leno lives. Jay Leno goes to the same grocery store that I do, the Ralph's, and I see him a lot. But in any case, guys, let me know what you think of these fires, man, and if it's affecting you, and I will see you in the next one.